anybody want to speak?
Welcome viewers and listeners to the Voice of the People program. Today the 9th of September 2014, today being Tuesday, and your host, former Member of Parliament, Jaipal Sharma, and I must apologize for the late start of the program. It is as a result of the number of deaths that was aired on television, and the previous program was also a paid program. So our timer cut, and so I apologize to everyone that waited with anticipation of the program start at 9. I know persons say they have power outage, they went and get the radio or telephone, the cell phone ready so they could tune into the program. So I must apologize for that. So, you know, person from overseas would also view this program and they will call in too, and things of that nature. So there's a number of issues, and I have some strange news for you. Strange in effect that it was only today that the APNU, David Granger, announced that he had sent a letter to the President of Guyana, His Excellency Dan Ramatar, informing him that the APNU is demanding local government elections. So it was an ultimatum placed by the APNU, the leader of the APNU, David Arthur Granger, saying to the President that APNU demanding local government election and is giving the President 6 days to so-called an election, local government election that is, and I think the deadline ends on the 15th of September of 2014. So this is indeed strange. I understand the AFC say this is strange. Cameron Ramdatan is indicating this is indeed strange. We want to know how you, the people, react to this information and share with you. And the APNU say this is no politicking, no fly. People is of the opinion that this is politics, and politics is a strange and dirty game. People are saying maybe this is a way the APNU, David Granger, is assisting the government. This is the Dan Ramatar government to stay alive. He's giving the Dan Ramatar administration a chance to breathe. So we don't know if this is true. Let us hear from you, the members of the public. We have the lines going. I think we have an overseas call on the line, or a local call. Caller in there.
Good night, Mr. Sharma.
Good night.
It's the same thing with you raise. I'm angry, you know, like you know, you program for cyber calling and hear me anger. The stranger is not, I see as a structure to just like carbon. You understand me? Since the last time in London, he going behind AFC back to take how much 500,000 or 500 million or go, and when AFC skinny up, he come out to the deal. The man is the same thing like Corbyn. You understand? And I will urge you and the AFC to enforce it and let me get rid of these two parties. Them is cooked. You understand? He is a leader, and all I hear in he said on TV begging, I want to join up with some party, we don't know, and everything like he begging PDP to be part of the government. What kind of begging leader is he? You understand? He's not a leader. When you're a leader, you're supposed to stand for the principle. All the time he's on TV, he's begging to be some part of some government. What kind of leaders are begging? You know, every time you hear him go through, he's begging to be something. He's a beggar man. He should be no politician. You can't stand here to folk. You understand? We want a leader like you and can imagine and not go to stand up to principles. You understand? We don't want to beg to beg for begging people to do like Tornan and then Proctor.
All right, good. Thank you.
He's a politician.
Thank you. Well, from my experience, from what I'm seeing from the 10th Parliament, the only body, I'm not speaking for myself, but the only body who really stand on principle grounds and meant what he said was yours truly, JFAP Sharma. When I indicated I would have resigned, I resigned. An effort was made by the APNU, even the AFC, and the Speaker of the House, Rahul Trotman, to get me back into Parliament. But I stand on my ground, I say no, I would not return. I never stepped foot back in the chambers, even as a visitor. Caller in there.
Well, a pleasant good night to you and congratulations for that. How many people you know will walk into your footsteps? All of them, and I said it without any apology, because I know they would like to kill Korea, but let them do this clear. I am bad in life and flesh, but worse in ghost. Let me understand that. These are hypocrites that sit in that parliament. They are all opportunists and they all have a skeleton to hide. Even their wives don't even know who they belong to. So these are men who walk wrong, as Jesus called them 100 years ago, hypocrites. The Guyanese people have to make decisions. Look, to be fair here, Jaipal, they want to remove the PPP, and that is an opposition right. But let me ask this question. You are the only one that walk out representing justice for all. Is not the nation opening their eyes, or they got cataract, or they don't open their ears, or they're deaf, to see that the others are from one major source, and they're self-interest people? They control the court. They got judges in their hands or threat member position. They got police doing their nasty work. They got some businessmen doing it. Let me make it clear. Guyana military and police force, they are what I call agents of this corruption. And if they have any respect for the uniform which they wear and the badges, they should stand up now and say, enough is enough and we're not going to take it anymore. Every Guyanese are entitled to equality. Self-interest is not the answer for our parliamentarian three-piece suit, and if it's a woman, she put on a mink suit and the place hot 100 and something degree. It is time for them to get up and do what is the interest of the people. You was in there. You see what happened, and maybe you may not know it. Maybe the woman who insulted your father, it is a blessing in disguise, because they would have poisoned you the same way Brutus poisoned Caesar. So you should come to a lucky star. Look what's going on. If APNU, and I can deal with APNU now, if APNU want to see a fair fight, get rid of all the PNC leaders who want to be leaders and elect David Hines. Or let me put Rupert Gupta right. And if AFC want a fair fight, let them put the Amerindian woman that they have that join them. Nothing to do with coming from PNC and PPP. The crop is old and rotten, and the palm trees take over with caterpillar.
So how you think about...
Well, I don't know where they come from calling themselves after fooling the country AFC.
George, how you think... George, how you think about the combination of Nagamoto, Nigel for Prime Minister candidate for the AFC? What do you think about that team?
Well, let me give you a rundown, and I know Nigel plays politics, of course, nothing personal. You cannot rule 6 votes for me. You was in, Nigel I'm talking about, the lawyer, a man I admire in the courts of law. He came out here with Mark Benstraff, Kisun and others from Mackenzie, sit on the table with the other chairmen while we are talking to divide Mackenzie away from Guyana. It's like a man putting out the foot, but he still want to put on a three-piece suit and a clock. So he can walk, he got to use walking stick. So we don't need him. That brother need to go and sit down in the corner. And in the law, sorry, Mr. Hughes, let me be honest with you. I am not afraid of none of you, because if you check up on them, they're all lawyers. And if you see it, I don't think even Nagamoto can be that, because Nagamoto get out from the PPP because he could not have get the opportunity to be the leader. Now, you know what is going on in our country right now? And I blame the Indian and the black people, fellow citizens, for God's sake. Have real honor, decency, and respect, and take back your country. You do not have leaders. You have hypocrites. fact it is, in Parliament there's 64 plus Barabbas himself. It is time for a change, the human, because what is freedom if you cannot be free? Tell me, Jaipal, how many young women is being used and brutalized because of economical needs? That's what the PPP is doing now with major corruption, skyrocketing the price, establishment of other things. People cannot make it. Under the PNC was racism and a lot of harassment for the other races until Walter Rodney the late came forward and exposed them. Then he lost his life because the two major party leaders, Dr. Jagan, Judas Iscariot, a steady Jagan, Barnum, Barabbas, and Peter who been telling them the two peas in the pan. When you ask him why you make the coalition, he says ask the United States. And to be honest, Guyana don't belong to Africa or India. It belongs to Amerindian and is a South American country. For God's sake, save what left of it and give the people land to build a house. Because a lot of changes is going to happen.
Caller in there.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Unlike Mr. Correa, I speak not with that kind of a passion when I speak for the Guyanese people to understand what it is that you, as the Justice for All Party, is trying to guide them along the path where they can have understanding. I do not go for the way that he goes. I ask the Guyanese people to open their eyes and their ears. Stop being like me, a disabled person, a person with a disability. When you have the eyes to see, you have the ears that you are hearing, you have the mind and the power to transform our country. And you look at what is happening and the atrocities, the arrest, I think that it's time that you should open up yourself to make the change. Remember the PNC in 1992, the people called for the change, and they got the change, but the change did not materialize as how they wanted the country to be. And they are about to seek that change in a way that it can bring the true help and the need to the people of Guyana. And I am calling on the people to open their eyes and look at it. I'll give you one instance to look at. In the Georgetown Hospital on the surgical block, that hospital is built so close to the road that you feel as though the vehicles are running through the hospital. I don't know how those patients make out there with that car, that traffic up and down there. I was in the hospital on last Sunday, and there was a truck with a big horn blowing, disturbing the sick person. Some of them who might have come from an operation, some of them who are now coming out of unconsciousness and so forth. How is it possible for you to do that? And then they're not against you putting up something and say it's a hospital, yes, but you gotta care for the people and also. And don't just put things, we do this for you, we do this for you, we do that for you. You understand? But that thing is not an hospital with care in it. You know, in the days gone by, you couldn't blow your horn in those areas. But this one is so close to the traffic that you can feel that this. I was there. And I said, how you this man come in here with a nice person out there? How can the people rest?
Yes, okay, brother. Thank you for your contribution.
And that's one of the things that we got to start looking at where and how our money are being spent.
Okay, we're gonna speak about the issue with money being spent.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Call in there.
Hey, my brother,
Yes, okay.
I like the piece of statement from Mr. Correa. Now, what amazes me tonight in the news, where was Mr. Granger when all our young brothers was being shot down, brutalized, tortured, and all these things? You never hear nothing from Mr. Granger. Now we giving the government ultimatum to get look on the government election. Bear it down. all these things were passing by sharing what the people road were they breaking up, what the road were the bus traveling for. You want to tell him Mark Bedska could have able to take it on himself to sponsor the forensic test for that young female. Now they, instead of one, they find two. And the opposition are interested in that. All what the opposition interested in is that they get election and they win and go into power. I am saying they're supposed to be a combined opposition between those parties, excluding your party, right? And what I'm saying, we don't need president from and prime minister from one party. If there is a combined opposition, they are to choose people from there. So at the end of the day, you going to be either you win or you be the opposition. Simple as that. You will select from only if I make the opposition who's going to return to this country. If you don't get the vote, if them and give you the vote, because this will go in on this jiggery pokery account to Mr. and everybody think they got sense and they think they are public stupid. But I wish them all the best. But I see it won't work. It won't work.
Okay, thank you.
I go with it.
All right, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Caller in there. Good night.
One of the things that it doesn't sound right is that you don't want the AP and you, Mr. Granger, to link it up with the people. Because they were seeing it, they want to see the back of these people.
Yes, everybody wanted to see the back, and then suddenly they came up with this new proposal.
Right.
And they're saying this was always, the APU is saying this was always first and a priority matter on the agenda. Okay, local government election, they say by having local government election, you're forcing the government to uphold the constitution. So the government was breaking the constitution all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so, however, I don't know if it's a way that maybe the leader of the opposition is giving the government a way out. You know, every president wants a full term. This president wants his full term. And maybe this is an easy way out. So let us see. Remember when I was speaking about the no confidence, I said is few things could happen here. One of them is that the president could come and say, I wouldn't call a snap election. I would call a local government election. Well, now the leader of the opposition is giving the president that chance to call a local government election. Now, let me tell you what will happen if a local government election is called. The president called the election. The president. And the president should indicate to his minister, which is local government minister Whitaker, to put the date. Okay? Now, if the date is put for election, well, then there shall be election.
Yeah.
However, the no confidence motion will still be debated.
Yeah.
But if the APNU wants the local government, they would not support the AFC. So only the local government election will be on the agenda. Now, the local government election will extend the life of the government in many ways, because that list that GCOM is presently doing will have to be redone. People will have to ensure that they have the transfers in the respective area. This is very important, because you cannot vote in the local government election if you're not living within the boundaries. Okay?
Yeah.
So, a lot of people will be disenfranchised if they go with the present GCOM list. So, GCOM will have to spend the next $500 million to do back a fresh list. Okay? So, I want this to be known. So, you're going to extend the life of the president and of this government. So, most likely, if the president should adhere to the ultimatum by the APNU 6 days, the last day is the 15th of September 2014, and you have to announce the date within that time. If that date is announced by the Minister of Local Government, okay, what that means that when October 10th or whenever Parliament will sit for the first time, the motion will be read and debated, that the APNU would not support it, because APNU claiming this is their priority. They would not support AFC. So there will be no general election in that case. However, if there is no collusion, like people have the perception that there is a collusion between the leader of the opposition and this president. If there is no such collusion or conversation or dialogue to give the government extension of life by having a government election, then the president will not instruct his Minister of Local Government to call a local government election date.
Okay.
And then what we will have is in our confidence, hoping that the APNU support it.
But this way I see it, I was looking at that too. And I wish that they won't support it, broad coalition front.
Now the AFC leader Cameron is saying this is indeed a strange occurrence. Apparently it caught him off guard. He wasn't aware that such a letter was sent to the president of the country. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so we had some developments, and one of them is that the government of Guyana scrapped the specialty hospital contract. The government of Guyana now apparently is now dealing with accountability, and they scrapped the specialty hospital contract with Surrendra Engineering Company Limited. This was announced today by the relevant authority. They claiming that some $3,636,000 US was paid to the contractor when the contract was signed. And here this is the funniest part. It is being said that the contractor is not, it's failed to account for the public funds. Now the contractor is not the Minister of Finance, is not the ministry. You give this man free money after signing a contract, and you say the man failed to account for public funds? Is the minister supposed to send out, not the contractor? Okay? And this is all because I think BK Construction, who did some work for this company, some subcontracting work for this company for preparation of the land site there, claimed that this man did not pay him a large sum of money, and he went out of the country. Okay, so as a result, the government took the position that they're going to scrap the contract. And you know how this government beat the opposition over this situation. Are we telling them? I was part of it, telling them, look, this is not a good idea. The contract should go back to retender, because Surrendra have no experience in building a specialty hospital, and Federalide, which was the competent contractor with a lot of experience, put the lowest bid, but the form in which he put the bid, it was also incorrect, because you cannot say if you awarded the contract you're going to reduce the contract sum, or you put a figure and then you say give you a discount. You put one figure and you finish the story. You live or fall by it, okay? Or you stand and fall by it. So, whatever figure you put, even if it's incorrect, and the lower figure, you stand or fall by the figure. You either accept it or don't accept it. So, we know it had to go to retender, and the opposition was not happy. However, you know the government beat us over this thing. Now the government scrapped the contract. Apparently now the government is transparent now. Now we have a government dealing with corruption. To identify corruption where? Muhammad Ali Ministry, housing. People involved in house that scam. So these are some of the things. However, also we had a recent development where the Guyana, that's on High Street, next to the Court of Appeal, opposite Canadian High Commission building, burned down this afternoon. They say the origin of the fire may be electrical in nature. We don't know. However, persons saying JFAP, this is a possibility that this may be the parking lot for the Marriott Hotel. So let us see what's going to happen. Caller in there.
Good night, Mr. Chairman.
Good night.
Good night. One thing is also,
Pardon me? Hello?
1.4.
1.4? Okay, alright. Caller in there. Yes, good night.
We're calling on Mr. Brazier to take his hands out from the PVC and the nonsense that they're begging. They're losing it. And they're glad to get somebody to help them to play the boost. And we don't want the APNU to tell them, if you want the city to go back, let them go straight. join up with the AFC whosoever and let us get a coalition government and deal with these people afterwards. That's the only way you can have things going. You can't want to go with the PvP now when you've been dealing all the time with the PvP. And the AFC is a strong organization that is bringing out a lot of facts for us to guide people to know what's happening.
Yes.
So we don't want Mr. Granger. The same people is accusing Granger of guns.
Correct.
And you going and help these people? Forward nonsense going on.
Okay, brother. So, some information for you. I received some information that some activities is happening at the University of Guyana, which visitors and students alike, maybe staffers, are totally in disagreement with. And that is that the security guard who do not belong to no security company, apparently UG hiring their own security guard, bodyguard, like the acting Tom Clark's over. So these security guard at University of Guyana is asking people for their ID card for entrance into the university compound. So they have a huge bottleneck there in the morning, afternoon, whenever vehicles going into the compound, University of Guyana, that they have to show the national identification card. Now, persons say they want to know if Vincent Alexander, who is GCOM commissioner, had anything to do with this because they know he's the election man. However, no. Vincent Alexander, Commissioner Vincent Alexander, had nothing to do with this. It was said that some PvP man at University of Guyana implement this thing. Now people want to know if there's an election happening at UG, why you have to show your ID card. People believe also it apply. Maybe they want people to misplace the ID card, so when an election is called, you wouldn't have it in your possession. So we ask the relevant authority to investigate the situation, find out who is the individual or group of persons demanding that person show the ID card, and the ID card information are being taken down. The ID card number, the name, the date of issue, people want to know what is happening. Also, I must say, I received complaints from our Amerindian brothers and sisters in Region 8 and 9 complaining about the rise in cost of living. They say, Jaipal, you know, the foreign leaf, the smallest tin of milk in Letem, it is selling for 4,200. In Madhya, Region 8, it's selling for 3,800. Now, cost of living is going up, and the gold price